Hey guys, Paloma here and welcome to the Bates House. Today I'm going to be going over a junk journal with you guys. So I asked you on Facebook and Instagram if y'all wanted me to do a walkthrough, kind of like one-on-one, or do you want me to do a voiceover? And it cut it close and it's been kind of fluctuating back and forth since I posted it. It's gone from 49, 51 saying do the voiceover and then like 51, 49 saying do the walkthrough. And I figured what I would do is try to make everybody happy since it's a fair divide, and I'm going to do a little bit of both. So we're going to walk through a lot of it, and I'm going to fast forward a lot of it that is kind of self-explanatory, hop to pieces that aren't really important, and just keep it like that for you guys. So that being said, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you saw the gorgeousness that I posted, which is all of the Valentine's Day, it's not Valentine's Day themed, but it's very love related, color theme, Valentine's Day color theme that I wanted to go with. And we're just gonna go ahead and get started because it's gonna be long enough as it is. I was gonna show you all the supplies, but I don't think we have time for that. So I am going to prep my workspace. Just a heads up, so I do know that the mat here is super cute, right? Because it's pink. Okay, so my mat is super cute. It's pink and it's just adorable. But I don't like the fact that it sucks up all the light. So I did order a clear mat recently, and I want the wood to be able to come through and kind of reflect that light a lot better, because this kind of just like draws in the shadows and sucks up the light. So even though it's cute, I'm just gonna save this for off-camera work and then work with the clear one with you guys. So I have these graham cracker boxes and I just cleaned up the edge pretty much. I cleaned up the top, the side, the bottom, and now I have a book form. So I always have these on hand because I don't like to throw everything in the trash. We do recycle, and when it comes to really good shapes like this from packaging, I keep it and then I just have it sitting there so whenever I need it, I can just grab it. So there's this. This is what we're gonna be using for our actual journal cover. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit though, because the papers that I have are not big enough to fit this, so we're gonna trim this down. And I have a variety of papers here. So that's the cover we're using. And then I have this really pretty vellum from Laura Ashley. I have this 1940s fighter pilots portfolio scrap paper. I got this from a property that was clearing everything out and they were getting rid of stuff, and then they let me have this. So that was awesome. Not just this sheet, but it was a whole portfolio of all of this fighter pilots, like personal military stuff. I kept a huge variety of like select items that I tried to kind of preserve his personal privacy, and I shredded all that stuff. So I tried to keep some things that were kind of standard and basic and not too personal. So this was a paper from in that portfolio from 1942, and you can tell it's very brittle and kind of dried out, but I'm gonna try to make it work without falling to pieces, and even if it did, it would still look good. These are the paper selections we're gonna be choosing from to create our cover. We have this here. If you saw my Goodwill surprise unbagging, I found a craft bag full of crafty kits from back in the day for $4. That was awesome. So we went through it together to see what all was in there. Found all this gorgeousness. Then we have this black buffalo check, this red kind of stitched pattern, this thing that says it's better to not die alone because then your legacy dies with you or something or other. So make sure you get married, have babies. And then we have this hard craft paper cardstock and this really pretty avocado mask green. And then these are the cover sheets, or the decorative sheets that I'm actually going to be using. These are from my Graphic 45 seasonal children's hour collection book. That is the only brand that I'll ever pay like $6 a book for, because it's always the small books, but I mean, like, come on, it's beautiful. So we're gonna be picking one of these for our cover, which I don't know what I'm feeling. All right, so how many of you vote the floral with the brown paper? I feel like some of y'all are telling me floral and brown, floral and brown. So that's what we're gonna do for our inside cover. Keeping it simple, we're gonna use a ruler and a blade, as always, per usual. and we're going to trim this down.
My final measurement wound up being 4 inches by 7 3/4.
All right, so now that we have that, I'm gonna figure out the cover here. I feel like I want it to be a combination, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I'm gonna take this part, and I'm actually gonna cover the inside with one of the pattern papers. So I want the outside, I think, to be this floral print. Oop, gotta make sure we have it the right way. This floral print with some of this kind of like in there somewhere, kind of like maybe a box frame kind of. I think that would be beautiful. Ooh, I almost feel like some of y'all are saying to make this the cover, use this as the frame, and then maybe overlay something else. We'll see. I think I like that better. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start making messes. We're gonna go ahead and take our book. Well, if this is the paper I'm gonna use, then I'd rather do this and then have the blank side on the underside. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get some glue, and I always use the Eileen's. Look guys, this is why my children are in a lot of my room. I always plug my glues, and they come and use stuff and they don't freaking close it. Oh my gosh. That's why I do voiceovers, because right now I'd probably be like, why do y'all touch my glue? We need a paintbrush. I need one that isn't already used. All we're going to do now is begin gluing. Whew, this paper makes me nervous. All right, I want there we go. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of that patinaed paper in here, but I think it would look really pretty folding it over onto whatever goes in here, so I think it'd be okay. I just want to push it, kind of massage it into the different fibers of the papers. All right, I'm going to gently fold this. Whew. I feel it, like right there, I can feel like it wants to break because that's not wet. Gently fold it. Ooh, okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and line our inside. And I feel like I want to use, you know what? Let's layer on this craft paper to add some thickness to this cover. And then we can decide on a design once I coat this over, and then we're gonna put our other paper inside here. So let's do that first. The size of our book was 10 by 7 3/4. now we have that done. We have this done. We can go ahead and glue this down, and then we'll put our ruler here and fold it up. Put our ruler here and fold it up. All right, so that's done. Now we can go ahead and put our board down. Center it as much as possible. Like I told you guys, I eyeball everything. There's not much that I don't just eyeball. All right, so I found this little scraper tool. Found this from Dollar Tree. It's this really pretty little pin needle head thing with this little, like a, kind of like a bone folder. So I'm gonna use that and push it down. I have a Cricut one and stuff, but this is pink. And you can see how it works in case you find it in your Dollar Tree. All right, so we have done that. Now this is where we take, well, I think we could probably fold it down now. Let's just go ahead and fold this down. Let's take our paper. I feel like it needs more glue. Oh yeah, this paper is brittle. So I knew it was gonna break once I folded it, which is why I wanted to put the glue already to make sure that it kind of grabbed it and adhered it real well. So typically I would cut the corners so that we wouldn't have an overlap, but because this paper is so brittle, I think I want to keep it. You see that? It just snapped. Wow. Okay. Now let's work on the bottom half. All right, so now that we have it all glued, I'm gonna go ahead and find my crease and hold my ruler to it. Make a really nice fold. That's that side. Okay, so now we have our cover with our 1940s paper. Looks so cool, doesn't it? I love that. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Now that we have that, we can go ahead and start thinking about the design on our front cover. So I feel like, what if, let's look at it like this. So if it goes like this, okay, I think I'm gonna take this and make it wrap all the way around, about 6 inches wide. put it up higher to this side. Then I'm gonna glue all of this down. Alrighty, so now that we have that somewhat dry, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a little adhesive where I see it needs it, like right here, and I think that's it, just right there. Yeah, add a little adhesive right there, and then I'm going to open it up and lay it flat and let some books straighten it out. Actually, I think I'm just gonna put it under my work mat.
Hey guys, so it is several hours later and I am coming back after making dinner. So what we're going to do is take a tea stained printer paper and line the inside of our cover. I love the way tea stained paper looks, and I always make sure I have a nice stash on hand so I can use them for projects like this. Now I always speed up through all the gluing moments because, I mean, we're just gluing, so there's really not much to explain. I cut the paper down to size to cover most of the inside, and I'm going to glue it down and crease it once it is set. Also, I'm doing some touches as I go by adding glue into the creases where I see that old paper has cracked. It actually adds a really nice textured touch, so I always let flaws fall where they may. Just work with it, it's still beautiful, and it actually adds to the overall look. So recently in a Dollar Tree haul, I actually found some repurposed products that I shared with you guys, and this shoe polish was one of them. I think this is the perfect way to add a more vintage look to your paper crafts. It's so fun, and it actually makes it smell kind of like you're grabbing a leather-bound book or something. It's just a really nice touch. So I do like the way that this stains. It isn't going into the glue, but that doesn't really matter because it adds just some natural distressing. Next, I'm going to use a few of my favorite Tim Holtz Distress Oxides in Vintage Photo and Ground Espresso and go a little further into depth on the edges. I love the way things look when they are totally distressed and just kind of look rough around the edges. It's totally my favorite look. So the glue actually does a fun thing with the oxide, and it gives it that oxidized look. So you're getting a bunch of different textures as you go over that are just naturally filling the page with greatness. Now I went ahead and put everything away, and it is the next day and we have our new clear mat. How exciting is that? Perfect timing. We can take a vote down below. Let me know which one is your favorite. Do you like the new clear mat to be able to see the wood grain, or do you like the pink mat? Let me know. Now jumping in, we are going to decorate our cover using these vintage stickers that I made. If you're interested in something like this and maybe you think I should throw things like this into the shop, into my vintage Etsy shop, let me know and I will definitely keep it in mind. That being said, I'm taking the sticker with the lady with the big hat, and that's what we're going to be using to decorate our cover. I had to get this avocado green face mask colored paper onto this project. So I am taking a piece, it's roughly 3x5, and I'm going to distress it and make it look party and old and dirty. So I'm going to start off with that Dollar Tree shoe polish yet again. I feel like this stuff is just so cool because it absorbs into the paper and gives it like a almost wet look as opposed to a hard stain or inked look. And then of course I have to crumble everything up because I feel like it just makes things look picture perfect. And I'm going to take the vintage photo and begin adding some color on top of the shoe polish and then jump into the ground espresso. Funny thing is I have so many other colors, but these are just my absolute favorites. So once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and take our sticker and see what it looks like. Now that shoe polish isn't going to let your sticker adhere, so don't even try to rely on that. You're going to have to glue it down. But we've done so much gluing in this project, I don't even think it matters. Just an FYI, the rest of this video is going to be a voiceover because this was actually chore day and I wasn't able to do the walkthrough video talking because I knew it was going to be a super busy day since the boys were doing their chores and moving about the house, vacuums going off, all kinds of stuff happening. So I really couldn't do this real time. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and glue down our green paper, which is no longer green, and we're going to glue our sticker on top of that. Now, the funny thing is the glue did a really cool reactive thing with this sticker. It almost blended and kind of made some kind of run into the ink on the sticker, which actually added for nice texture. Like I said, when things create their own little flaws, don't get frustrated by it. Just work with it. If you see, as I did, that it was doing that, I just went ahead and grabbed some glue and went around the other sides of the edges to make it all match and coordinate. It came out beautiful. Now, using our floral vellum, we are going to fold a crease to kind of give us the sizing for the inside cover pockets. I'm simply going to take that piece and fold it where the spine would be in the book and cut that piece out. These are going to be our pockets, and they are basically going to start from up high on the edge of the book and work their way down towards the spine of the book. I'm going to layer those two pieces and cut them, and those are our pockets. These I'm actually going to stick down with double-sided tape, but I'm going to go over it with a coat of the glue as well, just for some extra durability. Make sure that they're very nice and adhered because they are pockets and they are going to have things in them and you're going to be moving them quite a bit. So you just want to make sure that they're secure. Of course, the tape that I use is the Basic brand tape. It is BAZIC. They do have a stationery line and supplies. Now, I don't know about all the other stuff, but I do know that I love this tape. I've used it for years. I get it from King Dollar, but I do believe you can order it from Basic brand or Basic Supplies or something like that.com. Just Google it. I'm sure it's there. That being said, I'm going to cut up a few slices and stick these babies down and add some glue around the edge. So that was pretty much just a rinse and repeat with the tape and glue, so I didn't feel like we needed to go too slow on that part so we don't make this video super long. I took my heat tool and just dried it a little bit because for the sake of the project, I kind of need to be able to move faster. You could totally just set this aside, let it dry, use a blow dryer, use whatever you got. I just needed to get it dry so I could continue on. So now that we have this done, you can see the book form coming together so beautifully. I'm loving the way this looks. I'm going to take another one of the stickers and just place it on the inside. It's just a fun little personal touch, something to add a little breakup from the sides being so clean and so much the same. I have to say, I do love this little scraper, bone folder, needle point tool that Dollar Tree put out. It's a really nice and convenient little piece of tool to have. Okay, so now that we have that done, we can go ahead and again set this aside, let it dry, let it get super stiff, and we are going to begin creating the pages for our signatures. Now this I kind of trimmed down basically to have a few pieces to work with once I have my signatures done. I can pop them in there and use them as decorative pieces. Nothing really crazy. All I did was cut them into threes and chop them up into smaller pieces, and I'll be using those to embellish later on. Now we can go ahead and begin creating our paper stacks for our signatures. So I can tell you right off the bat, I thought I was going to use the paper doilies, but I didn't. I will embellish with doilies in the journal pages once they're actually in the book. So I put those aside and took them out of the stack. I took a bunch of small papers that I already had, some scrap paper, and we are going to be using these in different combinations to create our signatures. Now, a bunch of this paper just sits around in my office, and I figured what better way than to use them in this junk journal. So in this journal, I am using the black heavy cardstock that I got from a Goodwill find some time ago as the cover for each signature. So the solid black paper is going to be the dividing line for each signature for me. Then I'm going to layer in a bunch of different papers, and all I'm going to do is create multiple stacks out of all of the different types of paper that I have. So each signature has the same amount of papers, and they are all kind of the same but very different. That being said, we're going to cut down our sheets. I'm cutting mine down to 7 3/4, I believe, by 4. That's what my book came out to. I wanted it to be nice and flush against the edge of the book, so that's the measurement I'm working with. Now, when you have longer sheets, you don't have to cut them off all the way. You can fold them different ways to create pockets. Just remember that your fold line should not be on the very edge of your book, because if you have any trimming or anything to do later on down the line, you don't want to have to cut it and then you cut your pocket and then your pocket's no longer functional. Of course, you could go in and repair it with some tape. Like I said, there are no mistakes. You can just fix whatever you got to fix, however you got to fix it. So all we're doing now is folding the papers, getting them all to the same size by either folding, cutting, trimming, or doing whatever we have to do. And then we are going to piece together our signature however you feel is right. Now, even though I'm eyeballing some of the folds, I still put it on the ruler to make sure that I am getting a proper measurement so I don't go any bigger than what I need to. Now, don't worry, you don't have to toss all of your scraps. You can actually make some scratch paper out of a lot of your bits and use those later on in your project. So now you can see that I'm going to start adding in all the pages kind of randomly. I go one small page, one big page, small page, big page. And then later on, we're going to take some of the larger scrap pieces that I cut from all of the other signatures that I already made. And we're going to incorporate one of those pieces or pockets into each one of the signatures that are already done. Now, because I love the flush look of the pages being so crisp and clean and all the same measurement in this book, I take my ruler and blade and just clean those edges up really good so that they are all nice and even together. And as you can see in the book, they look gorgeous, just being so perfect all together in that one book. It's just so beautiful. I love it. Now, there are 8 signatures in this book, but I'm not going to leave the 8 signatures in the book. I actually did 4 for this book and then 4 so I can create another cover and put them into that book. But I love the way they all look in there, so I just enjoy it while I can. So this is where I'm taking all of those scrap pieces that I chopped off, and we are going to fold some or just trim some down and put them into the pages in the signatures, because I don't want any to go to waste. These could become really cute little accents in the actual journal while decorating, so I figured why not? We don't need to hold on to any scraps that we don't need. Put them in there so they become functional and they get used and loved by someone. Alrighty guys, so I think this is where we are going to call it quits. We have created our cover and our signatures for this junk journal. I am super excited about this one. I am falling in love with it already. I love to walk in and see it waiting for me on my desk. If you enjoyed this video so far, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to let me know which mat you like down below. Also, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified of new videos, including the rest of this journal that we are going to be working on together. You can follow me on my Instagram and my Facebook group at The Bates House. And for now, guys, that is pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!